In this video, we're going to see how to set up a simple program on an HMI made by Automation Direct to talk to a Al Bradley Micrologic 1000 PLC. Here we have the HMI unit itself. This is a Seymour Micro. It's a non-touch panel. It's got a 20 key bezel attached to it so I can enter numbers more easily. And we have it connected to an Al Bradley Micrologic 1000 PLC through a green DF1 RS-232 cable. We're going to see how to configure the HMI to be able to talk to the PLC. First, we'll open up the software. And some very critical steps come up here for us. We need to do these exactly right, or else our HMI is not going to work properly. First, we need to select the type of HMI. I happen to know this is a 3-inch monochrome non-touch 5-color backlight, so that's the HMI I've selected. Also, I have to select the proper protocol. I have to choose the right type of PLC and the protocol it's talking on. It is Al Bradley DF1 Full Duplex Micrologics. Also, I need to click the protocol setup button and set the proper baud rate. I happen to know for my PLC here the baud rate is 9600, no parity, 1 stop bit, CRC error checking. So I click that. Now we're ready to begin our project. If you don't have these parameters correct, your project will not work and it will not talk with your PLC. So it's very critical to get this set properly. Now that we do this, we click OK, and we come to our project screen. Now the first thing I need to do here in building a project for the HMI is to populate the tag name database. So I'll go here to the tag name database, and this is where I enter tag names that are going to associate data points in the PLC with objects that are on the HMI's display. Right now there are no data points set up for device 1, which is my PLC, so I'll go ahead and add some new ones. I'll click the add button. My first tag name, I'm just simply going to call switch_0. It's going to represent the status of the first switch connected to my PLC on input channel 0. The type of data it is discrete, simply on-off. That's important to select the data type right. I don't want to have integer or floating point or BCD or anything like that if it's just going to be a switch. It needs to be discrete. Then down here, the memory type is memory type I for input. It is address word 0, and it's the 0th bit of that word. I'm going to click the add button, and right there you can see in our tag name database I have my very first tag, switch 0, discrete, and that's a PLC address. I'm going to add another one here, so I have a tag name for another switch. I'm going to call this switch1_1. Once again, memory type I for input, word 0, and it's going to be bit number 1 in word 0. So at this point here, I have two tag names, switch 0 and switch 1. They're both discrete data types associated with two different input points on my PLC, and they are read-only. They're with the device 001. So I'm going to click OK, and now I can begin building graphic objects for my screen. Over here on the object list, I can take a look at an indicator, for example, an indicator light, that I'm going to associate with those input points on the PLC. So here I'm going to drag over an indicator light object, and as I do this, a window pops up to give me some attributes about the light. Right now it says I have text inside the light, and it gives me the off text and the on text. This is the text that will appear in the indicator as that bit turns on and off in the PLC. I like on and off as it stands right now, so I'll leave the words as it is. But I could, for example, type in the word energized or the word stopped over here, whatever I choose. Now I have to set up the tag name for it. Recall that we've already built some tags in the tag name database. I want to make this switch 0, and I'm going to click OK. And there's my switch 0. I can resize it, I can move it around on the screen, do all kinds of things with it. And I want to have another one as well for my second switch. So just to make things easier, I'm going to copy. I'm going to take this original one I built and make a copy of it. So I'll say copy, and then over here, edit, paste. I'm going to paste another one just like it. Right now this second indicator really is just like the first one in all regards, and I actually don't want it to be identical in all regards. I want to go over here and give it a different tag name. If I did not give it a different tag name, the two indicators would do exactly the same thing. They'd be representing the same bit. So I want to change it to its own unique tag name, switch 1. As you recall, the left-hand indicator here was associated with tag name switch 0. So now I have two indicators, two different tag names, ready to go. I'm going to send the project to the panel. It asks me if I want to save the file, and yes I do. Now, it says the COM port number 4, and I can take a look at Device Manager here real quick and just make sure I've got the right COM port. And it looks like my USB to serial COM port converter is indeed on communications port number 4, so I'm happy with that. Before I click on the transfer button, I need to make sure that my HMI is on the right screen. It's got to be on the setup screen, and you get to there by holding down the F1 and F5 keys simultaneously for a few seconds. It switches to the screen. If you don't have it switched to that screen, it will not let you transfer a project. That's an important step that's easy to forget. I'm going to click the transfer button. It's going to read the panel information. Now it's going to start transferring the data. And when it's done, it will tell me that it's successfully transferred. It takes a few seconds to do. There we go, project transfer complete. Now, if I pan over to the HMI, we see we have a display on it. It actually shows my 2 indicators, and right now they're both saying off. So I'm going to bring this here so you can see it better. I'm going to also pan over to my PLC so you can see the indicators, or the input switches. I turn one of these on. There we go. My HMI display shows me on. I go with the next switch, and sure enough, it does the same thing. So I've got 2 indicators here, 2 switches, 2 indicators on the HMI. And so I have myself a display. It shows me what's happening at those 2 bits in the PLC's memory. And that's a very simple setup of graphic objects on an HMI display.